ladies and gentlemen, for the Fringe FM, coming at you live from the middle of nowhere, the center of everywhere, here once again to give you yet another scrumptious dose of conversational boogie. Woo! This is Shift Happens. Yes, I'm your host, Gigi. Welcome to the show. What's up, everybody in the chat room? Chat room's already popping. Oh, I only have one of them pulled up. Should probably pull up the other one. And let's get this party started. Do follow us on Twitter at Shift Happens Pod for all of your shifty needs. And stay in touch with the website at Shift Happens Radio. Kind of keeps you up to date, but if you really want up-to-the-minute updates with Shift Happens, you want to follow us at Shift Happens Pod. And you can follow me, Gigi, over at GigiRabbit1 on Twitter. There you go. And honestly, I hardly ever use that account, but that's all good. Follow me anyway. I'd appreciate it. And also joining us tonight, well, we do have a surprise special guest. We'll get to him in just a few minutes here and let you guys guess who it's going to be. And but in the meantime, first of all, we've got our trusty co-host JP. What's happening, JP?
Hey there, Gigi. How's it going tonight?
It's all going somewhere.
What should I ask? I have just spent. I knew it. And we're gonna find out where it's leading. Maybe tonight with our guest, or bonus guests, or however you want to call it. But it was a day I spent on the 405. Fridays are brutal for me. Just too much time driving. Very toxic. Dude. I didn't hear any of the good podcasts I'm way behind on, but I managed, and I just got here right under the wire.
Yeah, he didn't even make sound check, folks. Right when the show started, he made it right in. Yeah, dude, you could be on the 405 on a Tuesday morning at 2:58 a.m. and just bumper to bumper the whole entire way.
Well, what you're saying is so true. You could be on the 405 at 7 in the morning, and something at 9 p.m. you have scheduled. You might be late to, all because of the ripple effect of that 405. It could screw up a whole day, and that's what happened to me.
Especially if you miss your exit. Dude, if you miss your exit,
it's over.
You're done. Yeah, it's not like Texas where you can just U-turn and get back on. No, you're lost in La La Land. And man, I can't believe when I used to navigate out there without GPS. Unbelievable. The whole skate crew we just kind of knew where stuff was. But
I'm told people from the Midwest and even Texas and the South, there's a lot of people when they come here, it's so easy for them to understand where they are because of the juxtaposition of the mountains and the sun and the beach. You know, because I got back from that big road trip. It's easy to get lost in those cities where there's just plains and just all you have is the sun, really, to kind of navigate you. But it's sick, man. I didn't realize. I just thought they were all bad drivers, but I get it now, people. I get it.
There you go. And yeah, dude, that's one thing I do not miss about California is the damn God traffic. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And but I do miss the weather though. And speaking of California, also hailing from California, joining us. It's been a while. It's been a minute, but you know him and you love him. Our associate producer Brad Harris. What's happening, Brad?
Wow. You know me and you love me. Even if you don't know me, you gotta love me, right? But thank you for that nice intro, man. It's been a minute. Being here back on the show, really stoked. Like you, JP, just got back from a nice week-long road trip. Went up into the Sequoia National Forest and Kings Canyon. Did a lot of hiking, man. My bones are so sore right now. And like you were saying, it's so easy to get lost up there. You have no I didn't have GPS, or I had no cell service. So I loved that fact of being just kind of disconnected, and you go to use it and it doesn't work, and it's just like, wow, I needed that. It's kind of a smack in the face, being a city boy for so long. Grew up in the country, but ended up moving into the cities, but to just get out of the city, you guys, it just feels so good to sleep under the stars and smell the pine trees and the giant sequoias up there. The redwoods, the ponderosas, the white fir, the ferns, the animals, the waterfalls, everything, man. It was just popping. It was a perfect trip. And that's just something that we can get into too tonight. Like, we did a little exploring and nosing around for Bigfoot. And believe it or not, of all people, I invited Eric Awakening Man. And that alone was an experience, and it was awesome. He brings a good vibe and energy to the group that we were with. And how was your trip, JP?
It was awesome. What were some of the cool animals you saw, or should we save it for later?
Yeah, I mean, with plenty of deer. We had resident deer that were just coming in and trying to get their goodies, when no one was looking. But the most entertaining of all at camp was the chipmunks that would just roll around, and we ended up friending a couple of them, and just trout in the stream, and that was amazing to go underwater and just see them face to face, so clear, without goggles or a mask, and the water temperature being pretty much close to perfect. If the sun's baking down on that granite rock you're laying on, and these cold water is just rushing by, it's like every 10 minutes you just want to roll over into it. The animals, though, I mean, we didn't see any bear. Probably just a big, huge buck, maybe a nice 8-footer. He was big. He had like 3 prongs going, and it was pretty cool. But I think a lot of the wildlife kind of moved out of that area last year. They had a really bad fire. And unfortunately, it didn't look too good. But on the plus side, fires are a good thing for the forest. It fertilizes it, and it opens up the pine cones sooner than normal. So there are plus sides to it. A lot of negative, but a lot of plus too as well.
It grows back so quickly.
It does, yeah.
It's almost worth it. And I think the most entertaining I saw 2 families of skunk. That I had never seen that happen. It was just so awesome to watch them marching along the highway.
Yeah, I've noticed skunk. I haven't seen any skunks up high, but I'm sure they were down in where you were at. You're kind of in the more plains area. But I got a quick story. We did. Eric and I took off on a little early morning adventure, and out of nowhere, this deer crosses with basically maybe like a year-old baby. And Eric's like, stop, they're screaming at me like, come on, pull over here. We got to see this. I'm like, all right, backseat driver, chill out, calm down. And it was hilarious.
Calm down.
I was loving it. I was like, whoa, it woke me up. And next thing you know, the other little baby Bambi was across the road and hasn't crossed yet. And it was calling for its mom, making the cutest sounds. I've never heard a baby deer call for its mother. And that was probably like my best animal experience while I was up there. Amazing. Yeah, we got it all on video too. Hopefully, Eric, if you're listening, put it on Twitter, dude. I know you're listening. So yeah, throw that up. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen Eric's cats mingling with the deer as well.
Oh my gosh, it was hilarious.
Because think about it, a deer, they're just even genetically are probably engineered to fear any sort of cat. Lions, tigers, but then they see this tiny little cat. Like, wait, okay, it's not quite a lion. It's not quite a tiger. It's not a leopard. What is this?
Well, he actually did bring his cat, and he had like a Catopia, this like netted little thing that they stayed in, and then he'd take them out in the mornings, and they'd go like frolic around the deer, and the deer let him. The deer like, okay, well, you get too close, I'm going to stomp you. But but for the most part, it was so cool watching them like just curiously like stalk these big deer, and I couldn't believe it. Even the people next to me were like looking over like, did he really bring a cat out here in the forest? But they were from Germany, so I'm sure they've seen a lot of weird things.
Were they wearing leather?
Lederhosens. Yep. Hiking in there, you know, it's funny. I'll be honest. Hats off to you guys over in Europe. You guys are way better hikers. Like, I felt we climbed El Morro Rock, and these Euro dudes were just flying by me, and I'm over here like gasping for air, about ready to pass out. Right, Gigi? Just totally out of shape. And I told Michelle, I go, man, they must be from like Austria, ready to go yodel at the top or something, because I don't have the energy for it right now. And sure enough, dude, it was like a 900-foot ascent up this sketchy El Morro Rock. Looking up you guys in Sequoia. It's a safe hike. I'm afraid of heights, I'll be honest. It scared the crap out of me. But once I got up there, I finally overcame that fear, and it was good for me to do it. Man, the views up there, you can see the whole valley all the way up to the top and backside of Mammoth Mountain and all these, Mount Whitney, all these high peaks. No snow really, though. Kind of all melted out, but there was still a lot of water in the creeks. And not too crowded this time of year either, so note that if you guys want to go up there in the future. This time of year is a good time to be there.
Yeah, where was that exactly? I forgot where you guys went.
We were at Upper Stony Creek, which I adopted the name Captain Stony.
Oh, that's where that came from. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Eric is Colonel Creek, of course. But many trails to go get lost on, man. It was a blast. It was a blast, you guys. If that inspires you guys at all, just a little bit to get out there, even for one day a year, and sleep under the stars and breathe that fresh air and just kind of disconnect yourself, man. It is so worth it. So worth it.
You know, I learned a little lesson of nature earlier today. I was telling JP about this earlier. I almost got shat on by a bird. Like, very close. Very, very close. I was
what kind of bird?
I don't know, just a regular-ass bird.
That's considered a blessing in China.
I mean, like, I was going to my car, right as I'm opening the door, out of the corner of my eye, I see a white gloop drop from the sky, and it lands on my windshield about a foot in front of my face. I was just like, wow.
He was aiming for you, man. He's just a bad aim, I guess.
He probably was.
Yeah, he's glooping.
Yeah.
So where did you go, JP? I'm sorry if I missed it on the last show, but give me a quick run by.
So I did a run. It took me through a lot of states. I'll give you some of them. Up through Nevada, Colorado, Tulsa, Oklahoma was my first stop. Only because I had heard rumors that Tulsa, Oklahoma is now being hailed as the next Austin. Not true, but
not
decent
true.
place. Not true. Maybe in 10, 15 years, but they're not there yet.
Okay.
And then so I kept on trucking, had a newborn relative in St. Louis, so I started to head up through Missouri. Got turned around because it was just so hot, but I really wanted to get down to Tennessee for some barbecue. That'll be my next trip.
Nice.
And then I just started heading back and hit a bunch of states on the way back. And so about 4,000 miles logged total round trip. And,
Favorite viewpoint or stop that you had?
the Ozarks, man. I hadn't seen the Ozarks in Missouri, and it was incredible. I didn't really have enough time to do all that, but I did gamble in Branson, which is the Vegas of the Midwest.
Did you double down?
You can double that. No double downs. There were free bets on one game I played.
What do you mostly? What's your gambling game of choice? What do you usually play?
I like to get into a poker room, but it was pretty crowded, and so I just sat down at blackjack. Blackjack would probably be my number 2.
Yeah,
I like
here.
blackjack.
Poker, and then if there's no smoking, then I'll just go to blackjack where there is smoking, and then some craps. I'll play a little bit of craps, and
a little bit of luck. Yeah,
and a little bit. I know it's stupid, but I like to play roulette a little bit. I really do. It's fun. It's
Actually,
fun.
roulette's more of luck. There is some skill with craps, and you could be up or down really quick. So
What's
Yeah.
the deal with roulette? Like, I feel like it is a luck thing, but they pay you better. Like, it's like, bam, you get like all of a sudden you put $1 down, and you got like 50, rather
Yeah.
than like 10.
Yeah.
or whatever.
I think it's 36 to 1 because there's 36 numbers on the board. So you get
yeah,
36 to 1.
yeah.
And then black and red are good bets, but it's it always tilts the house way because of those two green spots.
Those double
really-
oxes, yeah.
Yeah, those will ruin your night. But yeah,
Man.
Not if you bet on them.
Man,
Always
The la-
throw a chip up there, right? You never
yeah.
know.
yeah, you
Yeah,
kind
you
of
never
always
know.
want to put one there, right? And man, the last time we were there, we were in New Orleans, that casino that's in New Orleans, and my friend found he forgot he had $100 chip in his pocket, and he was saying all night, "I'm gonna bet it on black 16 or 19, whatever the number was." Right? He kept saying it all night. And then we woke up in the morning after a long substance-infused night, and we woke up really early, and we were about to leave, and he was like, "Dude, I'm still gonna bet it on black 16. And then I go in there to watch, and at the last minute, he changes it to some other number. But sure enough, it landed on black 16.
Oh my god, that's depressing me.
And that was
I think
$100
I've been
chip.
that guy before.
That was
Well, if it makes
$100
any
chip.
difference, there is a general rule with gamblers. A true gambler is not addicted to winning. The true gambler is addicted to the losing. I'll leave it
Yeah.
at that. I'll leave it at. That's why I'm not a gambler.
Me too. I can't gamble, but if I had to, I would do roulette and blackjack.
All right.
If I had an unlimited amount of money just to blow,
Oh yeah.
that's what I would do.
All right, well, enough of all the tomfoolery. Without any further ado, without any further lilly-nilly, I think it's time we introduce our surprise special guest that multiple people have messaged me and texted me and asked me who the special guest is, as if I'm going to tell them before this. That's why they're a special surprise guest. The word surprise, folks. The word surprise. And our special guest tonight, a good friend of the show, and he's been on several times. In fact, he's actually done a Talking Shift episode with us before, I believe. And he's back again for another round. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, from E-Talk TV, Jeff Rennell. What's happening,
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're on mute, buddy.
Mike's
Check
on mute.
1, 2. There he is.
Am
There.
I there now?
Now we
There
got
you
you.
are.
Yes.
I must have muted the mic when I moved it.
Right
Hey,
on.
what's
Welcome,
happening,
brother.
everybody?
Welcome.
What's going on? Good to see you, Brad, JP.
Likewise. Good to
GG.
see you too.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Good to be here. Hey, I just wanted to get in on that gambling conversation because, I'm from Vegas, so, you want to talk gambling. I mean, I'm not a gambler per se, but I do. You want the best odds, you got to go to the sports book, man.
That's right.
Then it's blackjack. I think those are your best two odds, and then if you're going to gamble at, and the best odds period is a straight bet on any sports game that you got, basically any straight bet. So then you got a 50-50 chance. Don't need to know anything about the teams. You put your bet down on a straight bet, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. That's the best odds there.
Nice. And it's kind of entertaining. You got to watch, and see who wins. It keeps you kind of apprised of
Yeah, it's a
the
couple
energy of it.
hours. Couple hours,
Yeah, I was
couple
a-
drinks.
I was a sports bettor for a while for pro basketball because I'm really good at math, and I used to always mess around and gamble pro football. Do the parlay cards and all that stuff every weekend with my friends. We'd wake up super early on Sunday, no matter how late we stayed out at night. Go to the sports book, make our parlays, and then go hang out and watch the football games at the bar and stuff all day long.
Wow, fun.
And it was always a blast. We did that for probably 20 years, me and the same friends. It was a blast. But through that, I started, just messing around with gambling as soon as I turned 21 and sports betting. But I would do a parlay, do a 3-team parlay. You win every one except one, no matter what you did. 5-team parlay, you win every one except one. And it's
Brilliant.
like you'd get pissed off. It's like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, talk to any sports bettor. And so my buddy worked for Leroy Sportsbook in Las Vegas. So I told him, I'm like, hey, dude, and I was 21 years old. And I'm like, hey, dude, tell me every different way, which way I can bet and explain it to me. And so we sat down and he started showing me all the different ways to bet, why it pays off kind of the way it does. And, it's all on odds like roulette. It pays out so high because your chance of winning, like you guys were saying, it's pure luck basically. Unless you're betting the black and white, which, that's still kind of luck, but there can be a little bit more skill involved in there.
Right.
But what I did is I had them just lay out everything on sports betting, and I started looking at it, and I started looking at all the different sports, and I'm like, man, dude, it's pro basketball all the way, dude. Not college basketball, but pro basketball. And why? Because any college sport is always emotional. And so it's hard to bet because given the right circumstances, the other team could win. So when you go to pro basketball now, and in college, people are trying to get their, trying to get into the NBA and all that. Once you're in the NBA, you kind of play monotone throughout most of the year, or at least that's what I like to say. And so what I learned, and I learned it the hard way because I was gambling through it, betting on it. But I would always suggest do not bet the very first 2 weeks of the season because you got to allow your teams to kind of play out. There's new players on. Some teams, are missing players, stuff like that. So you allow 2 weeks to go by so you can understand your team or all the teams. And it gives you a better idea, but then you got to look at it different too. If you're just going down to gamble, have fun, bet a parlay. They're the funnest things. But if you want to win some serious money, which you can gambling, but gambling, then you want to turn it into a business. And you want to have so much money that you're going to bet each time. And after you win so much, you walk away too. You always have to have your limits. And you have to have a limit on how much you're going to lose. Otherwise, you're just going to be a complete loser because it's all rigged for the bookie, for the casino, for the house.
Right.
Every single game is rigged for the house. The house, like you look at Vegas. Vegas wasn't built on winners. That's for damn sure. It was built on losers. And they don't give you the stats about how many people lost everything within the first hours of getting to Vegas.
Right. That compulsive human reaction is what they thrive on, and the demise of that is what brings their success, which is understandable.
So there's also a couple principles that Vegas runs on. One of them is I think it's called the power of numbers, and there's another one, but it really has to do with being able to have a huge ongoing data sample. It's really amazing when you break it down. And so it's the same concept if you have a huge gumball machine and you want people to guess how many gumballs are in there. And if you get 100 people or more to guess at that number, you're going to be within 90% accuracy of what the actual number is on average. And it's a pretty interesting phenomenon, but that is really how Vegas is really run off these real basic kind of principles. It's always
I worked at a sports handicap service before, and basically the people we worked with were never people in Vegas. It was all the people outside of Las Vegas that were illegal gamblers, and that was a crazy experience. But
oh my gosh.
Dude, this was awesome. It was the funnest job I ever had in my life.
That's a whole other episode right there.
It is.
Get into because I can imagine the thumb crushers coming after their money. I'm sure you've seen some of that in Vegas. Dude, my gosh.
And speaking of a whole nother episode, unfortunately, we do have to cut to a commercial break. And there's
Aw,
just
man.
nothing like. I know it sucks. I
How
hate it.
dare them?
I hate it. But we have to do it. Somebody's got to pay somebody's bills. And tonight, that's us. So
I thought JP was picking up the tab tonight.
I was.
That was the bar last night. Thank you, JP.
No worries.
Damn it, I wasn't there.
We would hope. We would hope.
Putting a 3-drink minimum on that fool.
I know,
Stop
right?
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Shift Happens here for the Fringe FM. I'm your host, Gigi, along with our co-host, JP. We're joined tonight by our associate producer, Brad Harris, and our surprise special guest for the evening, Jeff Rennell from eTalk.tv. And we'll be back here in just a few short commercially minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Listen, as we explore the mysteries of the universe, the unknown, high strangeness, consciousness, and our human potential. Lighting the Void is an eclectic program that strives to ignite the late night with stimulating conversations. Join us on The Fringe FM.
Yohoy there. It's Gigi from Shift Happens, and you're listening to the one and only Fringe FM. Well, at least I'd imagine so. I'm not sure how else, you'd be hearing this.
Musicians experience a lot of frustration with music marketing and promotion. They have no idea how to get their music heard, and they're spending hours sending emails, making phone calls, and hitting up their friends to promote them. With our industry-powered digital marketing platform, we can set up your media plan in minutes. Our team will automatically distribute your music across all the best channels, so you can focus on actually making the music. Submit your music today on our website at mymusicpromoter.com. That's mymusicpromoter.com.
My name is Alex Exum, and you're listening to The Fringe FM.
Are you avoiding the media? I don't blame you. Hi, I'm Jess Rogie, and it's my job to sift through the BS to find you the best in Fringe news. Listen to the Rogie Report news here on the Fringe FM, KTLK Digital Broadcasting. The truth is out there, and so are we.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Have you suffered in silence or experienced stress from a paranormal experience? Even if it happened 20 years ago, when thinking or talking about it today still makes you feel sick to your stomach or makes your heart beat faster, or you suddenly can't breathe. Maybe you even feel those old familiar signs of a panic attack trying to reach the surface. You could have unprocessed emotional responses. Those reactions of terror and trauma are no different than living through a horrible assault, childhood abuse, or a terrible car accident. It can be nearly impossible to find help. The very instance of seeing a ghost or encountering a cryptid could be clinically described as seeing or hearing things that aren't there. You could be considered psychotic, or at best, you're just not taken seriously. Out of a growing mountain of research, the National Institute for Integrative Healthcare showed that 8 out of 10 veterans who completed just 6 one-hour EFT sessions no longer tested positive for PTSD. If you've had paranormal trauma, you can contact Metaphorical Archaeology by calling 214-995-3754. Again, that's 214-995-3754 for a discreet consultation. Thousands of people are having paranormal experiences with ghosts, demons, shadow people, dogmen, Bigfoot, and more. Their stories need to be told, and they are being told. Dark Waters, the renowned storyteller, invites you to join at IamDarkWaters.com For just a few dollars a month, you can listen to some of the most hair-raising and compelling stories on the planet. You'll have access to real-life stories told by Dark Waters, thousands of hours of content. Their encounters are being told, and told by the best, at IamDarkWaters.com. Listen to stories like The Rabbit Man, the Dogman Encounter in Silas, Alabama, The Man with No Face, The Other Woman, A Day Ahead of the Devil, Dogman Murder in Hurricane Ida, even a story of someone trying to kill a dogman. Louisiana Water Demon stories. Sign up today and become a member at IamDarkWaters.com. That's IamDarkWaters.com.
I came to LA to make rock and roll. Along the way I had to sell my soul. I made some good friends that make me say I really wanna be in LA. I took the 10 to get to Beverly, laid some rock and tape, roll out on 180. Alan and Natasha always make me say I really wanna be in LA.
Yes, we are back. Probably the worst radio host reintroduction of all time right there. Clearing the throat. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back from the Fringe FM. This is Shift Happens. I'm your host, Gigi, along with our co-host, JP.
Hey there, what's up, Gigi?
Yes, and we're also joined by our associate producer, Brad Harris, tonight.
Yep, that's me. I'm in the back seat just cruising.
Right on, right on. And we are joined by our surprise special guest for this edition of Talking Shift. And that is none other than Jeff Rennell from eTalk.tv. What's happening, Jeff?
I'm curious if either of you got to hear Mike Barra on the show, or Mike Barra, yeah, that's it, last week with us. Did you hear that show? Was it any good?
It was great. Yeah, Mike actually, he messaged me afterwards. He was like, dude, you guys were effing awesome.
Yeah, you guys unloaded that night. I was very proud to be part of the show, as usual, but it's nice to get those home run hits like tonight. You know, we got the world-renowned Jeff Rennell. He's one of the best storytellers in the world and just downright cool dude. But before Jeff, you even come back in, I got to tell a quick little Bigfoot footprint story.
Yeah.
That we ran across last week.
Yeah.
Eric, the adventurer, like he is, he goes first thing in the morning, crack of dawn, finds this lady at some general store up there and starts asking Bigfoot stuff. And he says her eyes just lit up. And sure enough, she was connected with this man that was a worker for the National Forest Conservation, and so their job is to go through and hike these trails every year and make sure everything's up to par. And sure enough, there was 3 of them, and one guy was a day ahead of them and came across a occurrence of a Bigfoot print. And then 2 days later, I believe maybe a day later, 2 other conservationists, which the lady knew, went up and sure enough found this 18-inch plus Bigfoot track, which you can see on Twitter at Eric Awakening Man or Adventure Man. And plus, I think I retweeted it, ADS Brad Harris. And it is incredible, you guys. This is at the end of Cedar Grove at Kings Canyon, somewhere at a secret canyon. There's so many fingers that lead off from there. But I believe next year we're going to try to make it up there, or maybe the beginning of winter here. We might try to do a little stab at it for a couple of days. But check that picture out, man. It is probably one of the best pictures of a print I've ever seen. Hopefully it wasn't fake. You know, I wasn't there, but at least they reported it, of course. And this is where it gets trippy. The government said they had to sign a document saying never. It was like an NDA or whatever, and some kind of high level thing where they can never repeat or show the pictures. Fortunately, the guy showed the picture before he signed it, and nobody's in danger of losing their job. But you guys, it put hair at the back of my neck when I saw it, and then they were sizing it up with their hands, and just it was in a perfect area where the ground was moist, and there's definitely some big feet out there. That's all I gotta say. Thank you for listening.
Did they have any sort of rough idea of how long that footprint had been there? Like, are we talking about?
Man, it looked fresh, dude. It was honestly, it looked. If you go on Twitter and look at it, you'll see for yourself. It almost looked like it was made that day.
I saw it earlier today.
Yeah, it was still wet. Like, I don't know, because it's probably in a stream area, like a dried up stream area. So, as you know, I think, honestly, my perception of Bigfoot, they like staying in the lower lands near water and lakes where they can hunt, and it's easier on their body and their feet. They don't want to be up in, like, high areas where it's rocky. You know, it is good hunting up there if you stand between passes, like the story of Glag, where, you know, animals for thousands of years cross through these passes, and they know when to be there and when to hunt and kill. So it's kind of like one of those things. It's very rugged out there. So I think that the lowlands is where you're going to find most big feet out there.
Right on. And real quick, while we keep going, just real quick, I'm going to put out the call-in number to the Spreaker chat. And so there you go. There it is. And for those of you that are just listening for some reason and you're not in the chat room, first of all, how dare you? And then second of all, the phone number is 928-208-4464. Again, that's 928-208-4464. And we're down to go anywhere with any topic in any direction. And that's what Talking Shift is. So there you go. I will post it in the Discord as well, I guess, if I can, momentarily. Yes, I think I will. Bing, bam, boom. And bam. There
boom.
We go. There we go. And but yeah, man, I've got to say, man, I've been pretty hyped on ForbiddenKnowledge.tv, man. I don't know about you guys, but
that with Carson, our buddy, Billy Carson or Ben Carson, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, that's Billy's thing, Billy Carson. And
yeah, he's pretty awesome.
You know, the coolest thing you should probably check out is they have the last year that they did Contact in the Desert, they have a bunch of the lectures uploaded to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. And I've been watching a lot of those. I just watched the Graham Hancock one today, which was a 2-parter. And very, very interesting and very fascinating. And, man, there's all kinds of... There's just, you gotta check that stuff out. And
he's got his own crypto coin, I think.
Yeah, dude's on the next level right now.
Yeah,
that's totally next level. But it's awesome.
I'm down here like looking at it all way up there. Like, I'm not ready, but I am a member of that, and you know, eTalk TV, of course, is right there. The website's incredible, Jeff. I gotta say.
When can I get my eTalk coin, Jeff?
Yeah,
I need a doing that black card, bro, so I can go gamble.
I don't want to be showing up here, so I guess we're working on that now. I was just working on trying to get T-shirts and hats, but I guess I'll try to work on getting coins too.
That was the segue.
We want to be first in on those coins, Jeff. Come on.
Yeah, I want entry level, bro. Come on.
All right. Well, we've got a question from the chat room here, coming from Maya. Wow, I haven't seen Maya in a long time. What's happening, Maya? Haven't seen her since back in the Anti-Ed days.
Yeah, that was back in the day. Welcome back, my friend.
And she asks, why doesn't anyone talk about chupacabras anymore?
Good question.
Yeah, I haven't had a single conversation about chupacabras in several years.
Yeah, and they're
Wouldn't that be
clearly
kind of
eating
like
people.
that would be close to like a skinwalker thing, Jeff? You got any input on that?
I mean, I've watched some shows on chupacabras, but I don't know much about them. But yeah, I would say that would be that weird paranormal thing, something that you would experience. You could experience something like that, I guess, over there by Skinwalker. They're definitely got shapeshifters. But I don't think the chupacabras would fall under the shapeshifters at all, as far as I know. But yeah, they definitely are some weird creatures, and there's been some photographs of some weird creatures, whether they're doctored or not, especially out in Mexico. But I don't know. They're definitely, that would be something crazy to run into.
All right, and we've got our first caller for the night. Eric, it's either 166 or 661.
661, coming in hot.
Coming in hot. Who art thou, and why are you calling?
Hello, caller.
I'm Open Eye Project, man. What's happening?
Neil!
Oh, my God, it's Neil. No way. No way.
Shovel party.
All right,
Hey,
what
Neil,
you want to know?
Neil, were you in
You're going to
Mount
have to ask
Shasta?
me questions, you know?
This
Yeah, I
show
was there,
just,
and-
ladies
Man,
and
look,
gentlemen,
what are the latest-
this show just took a hard left right here.
I need to know, what are the latest downloads that you've received, Neil?
Oh, well, I was up there, and I tried to experiment up there, and it worked. And then stargates were opening up and shit. And look, they had so many people on the mountain, you couldn't even walk. That's how many spiritual beings. I saw a dude with a fucking ray gun, like.
All right,
it was
hold
a-
on, Neil. I'm gonna have to ask you to ease up on the cuss words. We're on the network now, so yeah, yeah. But go ahead, Continue with what you were saying.
Yeah, man. I mean, you couldn't even take a step because that's how many people. See, I bound it. I figured out how to bind these people up, the evil ones, and it worked. And then these stargates started opening up, and everybody was. Some people were dragging people around because they were tied up and stuff. I mean, it was amazing, man. I mean,
Where was this at?
it was a bit.
Where
It was
this?
right after the conference.
Up in Mount Shasta?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were camping and you come walking up to our campsite.
Yeah.
And out of the blue, you came walking up to our campsite there. So yeah.
Yeah. It was.
So
I
did
was
that
trying to
happen
find the
that night, or
will.
when did this happen?
Well, it happened after a couple of days after when I went up the mountain because I wanted to see what was going on up there. And I said, you know what, I'm going to try to experiment. So I did it, and it worked. And then, stargates were opening up and everything. I mean, it was crazy, dude. Whew. And then some spirits started cutting on me, and I had to leave. I said, the heck with this, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Get out of there.
Yeah, what? So,
well, the thing is,
That
Probably
looks
Eric's
like-
cat messing with him.
hey, Neil, Brad here. What's it look
Hey,
like when
hey,
a
Brad.
Stargate opens?
well, sometime I could do it. The only thing I got to do is say, you know, I know how to open stargates, but I got to close them right away too. You know, I did.
So what do you say
I
to
think-
open it? Is it
look.
just like open sesame, or
Abracadabra.
Well, no, there's a lot. I can't really say how I do these things because.
oh,
So,
this
all right,
is
you know, we're in
classified
a
information.
simulation, okay? It's a magical simulation, okay? Imagine when you could say and do things and it happens. We're living in a simulation, but it's magical. The problem is I could see these magical things, but the human race can't because I could see, you know, other dimensions and stuff.
Wait, so are
So,
you
we're
saying
living-
that you're not part of the human race?
No, I'm not human, dude. I could see through walls and shit. I could see through I could see through a mirror.
Nice cutoff there. Yeah.
I have, Gigi, one quick question. So, okay, you say we live in a simulation, and I always ask this question: if we're in a simulation, doesn't a simulation imply it has to be based on reality, right? So, doesn't that come in conflict? A simulation of what? A simulation of reality, right? Like, what is this a simulation of?
Well, it's a simulation of blind reality. That's the thing is, y'all don't know y'all in the simulation, and I'm the smoking gun. Okay, I mean, I hear a lot of experts with physics and a lot of scientists talk about we're in a simulation, and the only proof that we have is me. I could prove it because I can do these things. And another thing is, I teach people how to see too.
You know, I respect that, Neil. I think that we all are creative. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have as humans or beings here on Earth, since you might not be human, is that we have the ability to create. And thinking is the beginning, creating that spark of the mental image or some kind of idea that might, further yourself into actually manifesting what you are seeing. And I'm wondering if you're seeing things, or are you just feeling things? Are your eyes closed when this happens? Like, what's your perception, depth of perception?
Mushrooms or what?
Okay, the simulation has to do with colors, vibration. Okay, words can make magical things. If you say something, it can actually happen, like mirror, mirror on the wall, kind of stuff like that. And then another thing is colors. That's why I wear all one color. Like I wear all green, I wear all silver, or gray or whatever. I always wear one color because colors have a vibration too. So does sound and frequency. And sacred geometry does too. You know how people put sacred geometry on their body, and then all at once their body flow, their aura changes, right? You ever seen the science about that?
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, you put a talisman on and your aura changes, okay? That has a lot to do with alien implants, too. So if alien implants are put in you, that's a magical witchcraft bull junk. Okay, it's witchcraft.
Well, isn't it possible that the implant is our hybrid of our DNA? Could that be the implant? Or are you talking about a physical implant, like a piece of metal or some kind of foreign object put inside your body?
Well, I have them. I have 7 of them, and I keep on trying to get help from people, and MUFON is actually stopping me from getting help because they have the resources. They know who to go to. They're just not going to do it, okay? They're trying to cover it up. The thing is, I know the science about alien implants, and it's bad. It's witchcraft. That's all it is. I mean, if I put a talisman on your body to make you go to hell, like a fire pit, okay, I put it on you. I know where you're going, but you don't know. Okay, that's magic. See, we're living a magical. This civilization is magical, man. Okay, it has to do with colors. It has to do with all kinds of variables. Okay,
true.
With sound, talismans, frequencies.
Much like the Native Indians believed, there's an electric universe that you could tap into if you felt the need, but it's kind of dangerous, if you're not mentally ready for that, I guess I could say.
Well, if you get your third DNA, this is what I need to tell you, okay? I manifest everything I got, okay? I have night vision. I said, okay, I'm going out there and I'm going to get night vision. I went out there in the dark, with no moonlight or nothing, and I got night vision, okay? I got my third DNA. I said, and you got to speak it out loud, and you have to think. It says, I want my third DNA. I don't want the alien demon DNA. I want the left hand, all the 3 DNAs of the left hand. And when you get that back, you might be able to see stuff then. I don't know. But, there's a lot of things. Like when I got my keys back, I said, I got my keys back. I got my keys back. You know what happened? Everything that they stole from me, these mechanical things that has keys in it, the keys were pulled out of these things. And then all at once, nothing worked. Nothing worked. And they says, oh, man, it's not working no more. He's got the keys and stuff. Because you can't operate my stuff on this world, in this universe, without my keys. So if I get my keys back, you can't do nothing. Okay?
Neil.
That's how it works.
I lost my keys like 5 times this week. I'm serious. You know when you go camping and you're like, dude, where in the F are my keys? I'm serious. I'm not even effing with you guys. Like,
I lose my keys all the
where's
time.
my
like
keys?
that too, I mean.
What was the other one? My wallet and my cell phone, even though it didn't work.
And where's my bong?
And where's my car, dude?
But
Neil, what I'm taking away from all that, I agree that it's up to you to speak up. You know what I mean? It's up to you to have your voice heard. That's what I'm taking away.
Well, all right, this is the thing is, no one ever told y'all that it's a magical simulation. No one, not no one but me. And you better remember that, because a lot of people talk about the simulation, but it's magical, okay?
Yeah, well, okay, hold on real quick. I just want to let you know, Neil, we have about a minute and a half left before we have to go to break. So whatever you got to say it now. Let's hear it.
Well, hey, y'all, look. Hey, don't forget, Brad, we need to go do that, that safari. I call it safari. You know, it's like what's that ranch thing? Skinwalker Ranch. We're going to find a lot more stuff over there than you ever can believe, dude. So, and they got a place over there where the government marks the spot. I heard they had a research thing going on where the government's putting these X's, mark the spot, and I found one of them up there. Yeah. I found the X up there.
Really?
Yeah, and there's some, I know there's some, it might be an inner Earth over there, too. And
Are
I
you
know
taking
there's
any
aliens over
photos
there,
at all
too.
on your expeditions? You got to share your photos with us.
Yeah, you
That'd be
got to
awesome.
document your stuff, man.
No, I want to get a team of people, and we're going to do a documentary of it. I mean, I want to get a good team of researchers. I mean, Gigi, Eric, another guy, and then what's his name? JP. JP said he was going to bring his cameras up there, and I found another dude. We need a lot of cameras, because if you do camera stuff, you're going to see spaceships around there. No doubt about it.
You do realize you're talking to JP right now, right?
Oh, I know.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure. Wasn't sure.
Yeah, I know his voice.
Didn't think you knew either. I didn't think you knew.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. So we got to go to commercial break.
He's the one that was asking me about the simulation stuff.
All right, so we have to take a commercial break, but I do have one last question. Have you ever tried taking Xanax, Neil?
No, I probably need to relax a little bit.
Maybe so, my friend. Maybe so. I'm no doctor.
No Xanax for Neil.
I'm no doctor.
OG, Neil.
But hey, man, it was great. It was great to hear from you. It was great to hear from you.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling in. And you know what? Maybe later on during the show, if we don't have any more callers and we're kind of running lame, then maybe we could have you calling again. But at the very least, we need to do a B-sides and rarities episode with Neil from the Open Eye Project.
Yeah, we need like a straight 2 hours with Neil.
Yeah, we need Neil's more of a 2-hour kind of interview. You know, you can't really get everything in 30 minutes. So,
like them orbs I ran into on the beach of California, that was a trip, dude. Yeah. One of them entered my body, bro. This thing went inside me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got a lot of research stuff.
All right, so we have to cut to break right now. So Neil, we're gonna go ahead and let you go, and we will talk to you very soon. Okay. Sound good?
Just call me up.
That was crazy noise.
Brad has my phone number. He has my phone number anyway. So
yeah, I think we all have your phone number. So We will definitely be getting in touch.
Right on, brother.
So thanks again to Neil. That was Neil Robuchet calling in there from the Open Eyes Project. Go check them out at, I don't know, the Open Eyes Project.
Twitter, or Discord or Facebook and stuff. And actually YouTube, I got to call this own guy. I might be on the show. Oh, he tried to call me. Maybe.
Okay. Well, we are cutting to commercial break right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Shift Happens here for the Fringe FM. I'm your host, Gigi, along with our co-host, JP. And we're also joined tonight by our associate producer, Brad Harris, and our surprise special guest for this edition of Talking Shift is none other than Jeff Rennell from eTalk.tv. And we'll be back here in just a few short commercially minutes. Don't go anywhere.
KTLK Digital Broadcasting, thefringe.fm, Napa Valley, California, Little Rock, Arkansas.
Tired of talking about the weather? No, Shift. Well, Shift Happens is here to fulfill your desires as you reach that point in life where you crave tantalizing conversation about reality, ufology, the occult, and the conspiracies within, while simultaneously finding yourself desperately in need of your very own theme music, which we've got plenty of that too. So be sure to tune in to Shift Happens every Friday night from 7 to 9 Pacific, right here on the Fringe FM. Because the weather sucks, and you need some theme music.
Ever seen an extraterrestrial? It can be hard to believe they exist unless you've seen one for yourself. What if I told you I've seen them my whole life, but have never had a witness who shared the encounter with me? Now, what if I told you I saw 4 of them, 2 with blue skin, and there are over 20 witnesses to this CE5 event? My new book, The Blue Beings, Visitation at the UFO Conference, documents actual accounts from real witnesses, many of which have gone on record to attest to this otherworldly reality. Be a part of the quantum paradigm shift that is taking place right now. Go to johnpolkmedia.com to get your copy of The Blue Beings, Visitation at the UFO Conference, on sale right now at johnpolkmedia.com. That's JOHNPOLK media.com.
This is Ronnie LeBlanc, author of Monsterland, Encounters with UFOs, Bigfoot, and Orange Orbs, and you're listening to Shift Happens on KTLK, The Fringe FM.
KTLK Digital Broadcasting. We rock the paranormal talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the Fringe FM, this is Shift Happens. I am your host, Gigi, along with our co-host, JP.
Hey there. How's it going?
It's all going somewhere. And we're also joined tonight by our associate producer, Brad Harris.
Right on, man.
Indeed. And our special guest for the evening of Talking Shift is none other than Jeff Rennell from eTalk.tv. What's up, Jeff?
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
All right, we're doing terrible. And
I just had an awesome little snack right now. Have you guys had a Frito boat lately?
What's that?
Frito boat?
Yeah.
That sounds like some horrible sexual move or something, a Frito boat.
No, it's not like the Dirty Sanchez or anything like that. Although it is pretty white trash and redneck, especially after camping. I was like, I need some dirty ass food, right? So I got some big dip Fritos, some Hormel turkey chili because my wife doesn't eat red meat. Damn it. And threw some cheese and onions on top of that, and of course a corn dog to dip it all in. Take that.
Wow. And what did you call
it's
that
like
again?
Fair food, like you're at the county fair. It's like that kind of shit.
Wow.
Or shift, sorry.
Yeah.
Like fried butter? Deep fried butter?
I want deep fried butter.
If butter isn't good enough.
As soon as I get a chance, I'm going to try it for sure, but can't be healthy.
Nah. We were eating healthy all week with the whole camping deal, and actually lost some weight, staying busy on my feet, eating good. But man, I was craving French fries and just bad food when I got home. Isn't that terrible?
Well, I mean, you do live right next to Habit Burger, so.
I know. I'm so commercialized. I hate it.
Dude, Habit Burger is
Gigi,
good,
I gotta tell you, because you mentioned actually a couple years ago that I should try Habit.
Yeah.
I finally tried it just the other day.
Did you get the double char?
1 to 10.
It depends on what you got.
Tried a good 8. For that type of style restaurant, I'll go to a 9. But as far as hamburgers go, especially that's the one thing that here in Salt Lake, there's a lot of is really good hamburger places. There's a place called Lucky 13. Oh my God, man, their garlic burger. It's called Breathalyzer because you won't be kissing anybody afterwards. But oh my God, that with the garlic fries or the Cajun fries. Yeah, you guys come down here. I can take you to some really good places. Especially if you like sushi. You got to have Muscle Shooters, dude. And
what?
I'm telling you, this is the only place I've ever found Muscle Shooters like this. I go to Vegas, order them, and I get all kinds of weird concoctions, stuff in shot glasses and everything like that. I've had all kinds of different things.
What?
But these are Muscle Shooters chopped up, put back in the shell with the quail egg. Smelt eggs and some hot sauce in there. Oh my God, dude, it's the best thing in the world.
I'm down with that.
Best
Yeah,
thing.
I'm down with that. I know a lot of people aren't, but I'm down with that. In fact, I
I'll
had
try
a friend that actually tried to snort a mussel one time, and it didn't quite go in. I mean, it kind of went in, but it came back out.
What's the name of the joint?
Which?
The place where you're getting the shooter.
The Muscle Shooter.
Oh, what's funny? Almost every place up in Salt Lake area have it, and they know about it. But you go anywhere else, and it's like, you'll get all kinds of different things, but never what it is here. But I'm telling you, it's an explosion of flavors because of all the different things in there. You got to kind of get past the quail egg because it's a raw quail egg, so it kind of looks disgusting at first. I mean, I thought so, but once you try it, it's just absolutely amazing. I mean, to me, I think it's my top flavorful food. Me and my buddy Jason, every week we go and go get some shooters. We just did the other night, as a matter of fact. Amazing.
Awesome.
Amazing. Won't be disappointed.
Awesome. It's like
Jeff,
a ritual now.
All right, well, real quick. I hate to cut this hefty conversation short, but we do. So first of all, we have a caller. But before we get to our caller, we do have a question from the chat room that I'm interested in hearing the answer. This comes from Maya, and she says, "Hey, if Jeff is from Vegas, has he been?" And I'm just, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just reading what is said. She asks, "Has he been to Zach Douchebaggin's Haunted Museum?"
What?
No, I haven't.
That's what it says.
I'm proud to say no. My friends, they came. My friends here from Salt Lake, they went to Vegas for their bachelor and bachelorette party, and she went, and she wanted me to go really bad, but I didn't want to go. I refused to go. But there sounds like there's some really interesting things there. So I'm kind of interested to go now. He has some really, like the Pandora's box or something. But after looking into it, I mean, I agree with you on the douchebag Zach and all that. But it sounds like they got some really cool stuff there. And so it's really interesting, like the Pandora's box. So I want to go see that. A lot of people say they feel a lot of crazy energy from some of the stuff that he has there, and I can be really sensitive to energy, so me personally, I want to go experience that. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Ghostbusters and everything, but kudos to them for being able to create that show, though, because it's pretty interesting how they got that going.
Yeah, for sure.
And all right, and
just the name alone makes me want to show up.
And and with that, let's go ahead and introduce our new caller, which is no stranger to anybody that's listening to this show, or perhaps, maybe, but probably not. The one, the only, the adventurer, our resident adventurer here at Shift Happens, the one and only Eric Awakening Man. What's happening, Eric?
I've had the runs all day because Brad was up there with. Well, this is a true story. So Brad was up there the final night. We didn't have anything to eat because we'd run out of food, and so Brad was out there with his BB gun popping off the chipmunks. So we had fried chipmunks, and that was pretty good, actually.
You didn't like the teriyaki on the legs, dude?
Did you guys really eat chipmunks?
Yeah, teriyaki chicken
dude,
chipmunks.
It's totally illegal to be talking about this, Eric, but go ahead.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. We my whole life is illegal,
in Indy,
so this is fine.
Yeah, if they're listening, you know.
No one's listening anyways.
You lost them when you said I have the runs.
No, that was a great intro, man. I gotta start my show off if I ever do one. Like, man, I got the runs. You know, I had the runs though. Actually, it was that jalapeno cheese. Oh my god,
that was good.
So
I'm joking.
You invited Eric on, and the show just took a very bad turn, man. Very bad.
Very dark.
Yeah, we took a sharp left turn earlier. Now we're taking a sharp right turn.
Dude, like, we got Neil, and then we got Eric. Oh, my God.
Yeah, Eric, did you just call to tell us all you have the runs? Is that why you called us?
That was the headline, Jeff.
Mostly to Neil and his stories, that was probably what it was.
Hey Eric, I want you to tell your version of the Bigfoot picture that you ran across.
What's that? Say it again.
The Bigfoot print that you ran across in that story.
Yeah, so we got up there to which as soon as Brad told me we got a campground up here, it's Upper Stony Creek, and that's all I needed to hear. The word Stony was in there, and I thought, I'm in. I can't reject this opportunity. So we went up there, and honestly, it was one of the best campsites I've ever been to in my life. Seriously, it was awesome. I mean, we kind of had this little cove area right next to where the bear and the deer and the chipmunks and possibly Bigfoot. I mean, before I get to the footprints that I saw pictures of, the one lady that was next to us about 12 o'clock at night. She's banging on a pot with like a fork or whatever, saying, "Go away, Bah, go away, Bah." I'm like, what? So I go, where is he? I can't see him. He's up there. He's staring at me. I can see him with his eyes. He's staring at me right now. So I get up with my flashlight, and apparently he had left by that time. But I said, are you sure it was a bear? I mean, did you see it walk away? She said, no, but I just saw these eyes up on the mountain, and I just thought it was a bear, so I told it to go away. And I'm like, shit, maybe it was Bigfoot. Next morning, I went hiking up there, and Brad didn't go with me. It was like 7 a.m, and I found all sorts of footprints up there, and bear prints and deer prints, and either they were human prints or what, I don't know, but it was just this whole meadow up there filled with prints. I'm thinking that's where they were hanging out. But anyway, so the next day we went down to the little local market, which was only down the road, which was pretty convenient, actually. And I'm in the store, and I see on the shelf this Bigfoot cap, and I thought, what are they selling Bigfoot hats up here for? I mean, I didn't get the vibe that it was a Bigfoot area, so I asked the girl at the cash register, said, so what's the deal with the Bigfoot hats? You guys having any sightings up here? And the one lady, there's 2 of them behind the counter. The one blonde lady says, yeah, you need to go all the way to the end road on Highway 180 into Kings Canyon. She goes, we've been hearing sightings in that area. And I thought, cool. So I told Brad about it, and we did end up going out to that area a couple days later and scoped it out, which was awesome. We saw some caves and some waterfalls. But then the other girl that was at the cash register, I had this Bigfoot shirt on. She goes, "Are you into Bigfoot?" I go, "Yeah, I'm a Bigfoot researcher." She goes, "Oh my God, you've got to see this! My friend just sent me this a few weeks ago. He works for the Forest Service, and they've had 3 encounters, and this was in another area which was kind of parallel to Kings Canyon on the other side of the mountain, up there near Shaver Lake, and there's another Clear Lake or something like that. It's another part of where the Sierra Forest and the Sequoia Forest kind of meet. The National Forest, there's like a little boundary.
Yeah, on the northern side of
yeah, the north side. So anyway, So she shows me these pictures, and I'm like, damn, that looks like a legit picture. There's a massive foot that was at least 19, 20 inches, and the guy's foot was next to it. It was a 13-inch shoe. And then there's another print on the picture that shows a footprint and then a handprint inside the footprint, and he's got his hand in there, and this handprint is massive. So I said, did he give you any more information? She goes, yeah, you could scroll on my phone if you want. I go, can I take pictures of the text messages, and can I just take pictures of all this so you don't have to send it to me on my phone? She goes, sure, go ahead, because there was no cell service there. So I'm scrolling through the messages, and I've got the messages. I've got evidence. This is not just me making up a story right now. So the guy did work for the Forest Service. He's not there anymore, but he said they had 3 encounters up there, and they were coming into the forest camp where the forest guys stay at during the fire season and causing trouble, I guess. And I guess some federal agent came in there and made them all sign an NDA not to talk about it. So the only reason I was even able to hear the story was, number one, I asked, but number two, the guy doesn't work for them anymore. I think he was probably trying to impress this girl with his pictures, which were pretty amazing. So yeah, Brad and I, we've got it scoped out. We know most likely where they are, and next time we go up, we're going to go off the grid and really, it's not a place you bring the wife and kids, though. Brad and I both agreed. We ain't bringing the wife and kids up. Ain't no chance that's going to happen.
That's like full packing, dry food, firearm, bear spray, the whole 9. Like, you can't go in there willy-nilly. You're going to get killed. Yeah. Whether or not you injure yourself or something injures you. It's one of those areas that is very rugged. The hike's not too bad, really, to get back where we need to be. But you never know what you're going to run across each corner, you know. There's not too many people back there. You're lucky if you run across. It's not even near the Pacific Coast or Crest Trail. It's kind of, another like 100 miles or maybe like 60 miles down from that. And this is kind of, when I was looking at the map all morning, I was looking at it, where we had been and where we could go. And that is like literally, I'd say 100 square miles of nothing. Like, there's no trails that are marked. Like, if you go back into there, you're definitely going to be on your own. Like, there's no one's going to come in and helicopter you out of there if you get hurt. So it's one of those
I think
deals.
2 people almost isn't enough. I would feel safer with 3 or 4 people. Just Because, you know, if they are up there, which it's, you don't know what their temperament is. And that's one thing I've learned in the different areas I've gone to is not all Bigfoot have the same temperament. I mean, you might be in one area where they're just observing you and they don't have anything on their agenda to cause you any harm. Like in Montana, that was a cool spot. But in Texarkana and Falk, Arkansas, I got a freaky vibe. There's no way I would camp out there, man. With the things that I saw and the mutilated animals that were up there, you couldn't. I wouldn't never camp up there, and neither would the guy that took me up there, William Lunsford. He goes, no, these boogers up here, they're a different breed. These will rip your body apart and eat you.
More violent, yeah.
So I know that the Sequoia National Park, the elevation ranges drastically. It's like starts at about 1,300 feet, and it goes all the way up to like 14 or 15,000 feet. About how. What elevation were you at when all this madness started happening?
I was where we camped was about 6,500, and then when we drove down the mountain into the canyon, I'm going to guess maybe a couple 2,000 or 3,000 feet were at that point. But from my understanding, from what I've been told, that depending on the time of the year, I mean the Bigfoot could be up at the high end at some point during certain times of the year, and then come down to the low end. So really, it just depends. See, I don't know enough yet to know how to track them really well. I'm learning. Probably by this time next year, I'll have all the information. So if anybody wants to join me, we won't be wasting time. I can promise you that.
Yeah. Well, you said something earlier that was very interesting. I agree with it. It's much like how the bear live. It's like after the snow melt, they come out and they're really active, ready to eat good and have an easier day hunting, so to speak. And I can see that happening, especially after spending a week up there. And then the area that we went to, we did drop down, Eric, but also we climbed up. So at the end of Cedar Grove, I think it was about 8,000 feet, to be honest. It was still up there. And but the cliffs there, you guys, oh my gosh! If you're scared of heights and driving, don't go there.
Brad, you think you were higher?
I'm always higher.
That's what I.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I think we were at close to like at the end of Cedar Grove. We'll look it up. I think it was like 7,500.
I'll look it up right now. Canyon. I think maybe if we went into Kings Canyon, we'd start off at a lower elevation, but we could walk into the canyon, which would take us up the mountain eventually, and we would be way up there. I mean, depending on how high you want to go up. I mean, there's lots of caves up there. I mean, we went on that little cave expedition.
Dude. There's caves everywhere.
And that taught me that there's probably openings and places in other caves up there, like the one we were in, that we paid $16 a tour, where these guys could go easily and hide and hang out and not be bothered or seen by anybody. So that theory, I think, has some plausibility to it, actually.
Yeah. I just, you just have to keep it in perspective too, like, how many people go back there and on these trails and stuff? And like, I'll be honest, like I was looking at the research of it and the permits, how many permits are allowed every year and stuff. There are like a lot of people back there. So what I'm thinking is off those trails in the middle somewhere in like I said, that square footage or the square miles, I'm honestly thinking that's where we're going to find something next year, or if not later this season.
You were right. It was actually 6,500 feet in Kings Canyon. I just checked, so you're close.
Yeah. And the waterfalls are still pumping out there. They say there's no water. Dude, there was like, I would say a 20 to 30 foot waterfall gushing. Like, oh man, you could have created so much energy off it. What do you think, Eric? How powerful was that?
Oh yeah, it was great. I mean, Jesus, pristine. And there was an area up there where we drove by. We talked about the Huckleberry Meadow, which I've done enough research to know that apparently during certain times of the year, if there are Bigfoot in the area, they love huckleberries. So if you can find a huckleberry patch, which there's not very many in California, just a handful, and you're able to scope out that area and you determine what time of the year those huckleberries are ripe, you're increasing your chances along with. I mean, there's still, what I'm learning is what time of the year, where do you need to be, and what do you need to do to increase your chances and your opportunities. If you can find tree structures, you're in like Flint, knowing that they're there at some point during the year. You just but I am convinced that. But going back to the Shasta Caverns real quick, because I don't think we talked about that. That lady up there said that they get a lot of sighting reports in late January up and through March, where there's hardly anybody up there. The snow season is kind of hit, but there's still snow up there. But then it's starting to turn into a spring. He says that's when they come out. This lady was like a 65-year-old German lady who there's no BS in her game. She wasn't there to
Shasta,
try to.
Right?
Shasta Caverns, which there's Bigfoot sightings up there, and I did some research. So yeah, we've got a couple spots in California now. To next year, we'll get some guys out there, go do some more research. I'm going to head out to Montana. Going to go see Jeff actually in Utah next week, hang out for a little bit, and go up to Montana, and then hopefully I can get Jeff to come up with me at some point, either to Idaho or Montana, and then we're going to do a conference in Utah. That's going to be an amazing little conference. I think it's the 12th and the 13th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, August, with Ryan Burns and some other people that are the Uinta Basin researchers. We're going to get, and some Indian people are going to come out and talk. So yeah, I mean, it's
totally in on that.
We're going to learn a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's going to be cool. We're going to have some good information, hopefully, and some good stories to tell. I'm kind of got my fingers crossed. You never know, but I'm optimistic.
We got Phenomicon 2 coming up in Vernal. That's September 8th through the 10th, I believe.
Yeah, we got to get up to the Ashland Forest. Maybe if I could drag you over into the conference on the 12th and the 13th or whatever, if you can get a day off or two somewhere in that range, or if we're not too far, we could go up to the place where that guy took us, where we recorded the sounds of the Bigfoot growling at us with you, me, and Raw, and we saw those tree structures up there. I mean, that to me looked like a legit area as far as I could tell.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that myself. I was going to see if you could even get a hold of that guy, Brad, to maybe show us around more in that area. But there was that camping site right there next to the structure. I think we should camp right there.
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect spot. It's easy to get to. And, yeah, I'm down with that. So hopefully the weather will hold up. I'm looking at Montana's looking to be somewhere between the low of 40 and the high of 80. So I can live with that. That works for me, being up in the forest. That's not too bad.
Yeah, here in Salt Lake or, up there by Ashley Forest, it's probably going to start to get cold mid-September. And then, October time, then you're risking snow at any point. But as long as we're ready for that, I don't mind some snow.
Yeah, but I think in like 3 weeks or less, it still might be. I mean, what's the temperature like now there? It's summertime, right? Are you feeling the summer?
Yeah. It's been about 100 degrees out here all this week and stuff. It's supposed to chill a little bit down next week, but yeah, it's been nice and warm.
Yeah, I'm not down with the 100 degrees in the forest, but if it's 80 or so, I can live with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's 100 degrees in the forest just here in Salt Lake in the city. It has been.
Yeah.
They're all complaining here, but I think it's a beautiful spring day, man.
You should try living in Texas, my friend. You should try living in Texas and then report back. How about that, ladies and gentlemen?
Place with high humidity, no way.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. I genuinely hate Texas, but I'm here, so gotta make the best of it. Okay, but we do have to take our very next and very last commercial break. Eric, feel free to stay on the line if you want to hang out for the rest of the show. And we will open up the lines to other callers as well once we come back from this commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Shift Happens here for the Fringe FM. I'm your host, Gigi, along with our co-host, JP. And joining us tonight is our associate producer, Brad Harris, along with our surprise special guest, Jeff Fennell from eTalk TV. And we've got Eric Awakening Man on the phone. And we'll see who calls in when we come back from this commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
Thousands of people are having paranormal experiences with ghosts, demons, shadow people, dogmen, Bigfoot, and more. Their stories need to be told, and they are being told. Dark Waters, a renowned storyteller, invites you to join at IamDarkWaters.com. For just a few dollars a month, you can listen to some of the most hair-raising and compelling stories on the planet. You'll have access to real-life stories told by Dark Waters, thousands of hours of content. Their encounters are being told, and told by the best, at IamDarkWaters.com. Listen to stories like The Rabbit Man, the Dogman Encounter in Silas, Alabama, The Man with No Face, The Other Woman, A Day Ahead of the Devil, Dogman Murder in Hurricane Ida, even a story of someone trying to kill a dogman. Louisiana water demon stories. Sign up today and become a member at IamDarkWaters.com. That's IamDarkWaters.com.
Are we living in a simulation? Listen live each week as we expand our awareness and explore the multitude of mysteries in this world. Escape the simulation live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern with me, Jess Rogie, here on the Fringe FM, KTLK Digital Broadcasting.
Musicians experience a lot of frustration with music marketing and promotion. They have no idea how to get their music heard, and they're spending hours sending emails, making phone calls, and hitting up their friends to promote them. With our industry-powered digital marketing platform, we can set up your media plan in minutes. Our team will automatically distribute your music across all the best channels, so you can focus on actually making the music. Submit your music today on our website at mymusicpromoter.com. That's mymusicpromoter.com.
Hey, this is Anthony Tyler, host of Black Hoodie Alchemy, and you are listening to The Fringe FM.
Listen. As we explore the mysteries of the universe, the unknown, high strangeness, consciousness, and our human potential, Lighting the Void is an eclectic program that strives to ignite the late night with stimulating conversations. Join us on The Fringe FM.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Have you suffered in silence or experienced stress from a paranormal experience? Even if it happened 20 years ago, when thinking or talking about it today still makes you feel sick to your stomach or makes your heart beat faster, or you suddenly can't breathe. Maybe you even feel those old familiar signs of a panic attack trying to reach the surface. You could have unprocessed emotional responses. Those reactions of terror and trauma are no different than living through a horrible assault, childhood abuse, or a terrible car accident. It can be nearly impossible to find help. The very instance of seeing a ghost or encountering a cryptid could be clinically described as seeing or hearing things that aren't there. You could be considered psychotic, or at best, you're just not taken seriously. Out of a growing mountain of research, the National Institute for Integrative Healthcare showed that 8 out of 10 veterans who completed just 6 one-hour EFT sessions no longer tested positive for PTSD. If you've had paranormal trauma, you can contact Metaphorical Archaeology by calling 214-995-3754. Again, that's 214-995-3754. for a discreet consultation.
This is Tom Sherman. Down here at Banning College, we're promoting a blood drop. Oh, shit.
Welcome to the Sound of America. You're listening to AM 580. Lay back, the sheep, little lamb, little lamb, little lamb, little lamb, little lamb, little lamb.
Throw Adam the apple. Don't hold me so to my base! Cannot be saved. Follow me and Good to know that he's walking with me. Big rock as a weapon.
The devil is a black.
And you have fallen into the love that needs to be designed by the Lord. Hallelujah, y'all. I want to hear a couple of hallelujahs.
Yes, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the Fringe FM. This is Shift Happens. I am your host, GG, along with our co-host, JP.
What? Final half hour? What?
Yeah, we've already made it. We already made it. And we're also joined by our associate producer, which is none other than Brad Harris. What's happening, Brad? Oh, you're muted.
No, I'm not.
Now you're not. Yes.
What are you talking about? What you talking about? What
you talking about with us? Yeah. And then, of course, joining us tonight is our special surprise guest, Jeff Rennell from eTalk.tv. What's up, Jeff?
What up? Yeah, Jeff.
And we've also got, still on the phone line, we have my hero and yours, Eric Awakening Man.
And is it Awakening Man? Or is it Adventuring Man?
I don't care what he changes his name to. It's always going to be Eric Awakening Man.
I know, huh?
Actually, I still...
Lewis and Clark.
You know what's funny, Eric, is I actually still have you saved on my phone as Eric Thought Shifter, which was pre-Awakening Man.
What?
Yeah, that's how long I've known Eric. Yeah.
Changing.
That's going way, way back.
Yeah, that's like 7 years ago.
Yeah. That's like Vatican time machine shit.
And then once John Polk's birthday's tomorrow, so Gigi, just as a courtesy friendly thing gesture, I'd send him a little Twitter thing, happy birthday. I think that would be a cool thing to do. I know you guys had your little
happy birthday.
I would love to, man. I definitely will. And as you heard earlier in the show, I still run his commercials, and I've got nothing but love for the guy, and I'm sure that's I'm sure we'll overcome that little
it's all good.
Whatever that was.
He misses. We gotta bring Polk back into the mix because he's still got a lot of stories. We haven't heard him in a while. We need to have him as a guest on the show. Actually, is what we should do.
I'm gonna have to reach out.
Absolutely. In fact, a fun fact for Shift Happens is the first episode we ever did on Shift Happens was with John Polk. He was the very first guest that we ever did.
He was the first guest on eTalk too for me.
Wow!
No way.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got nothing but love for John, man. So as soon as he wants to come back in the mix, let's do it. Yeah.
John's a great guy. I got nothing but good stories, and he's just he can feel the energy, and I don't know how he does it, but he can call the UFOs in, right, Eric?
He really can.
Oh, that's a fact.
Yeah.
I've seen it on more than one occasion, and we had the best night sighting in my life at the Happy Jack prior to the Bigfoot encounter the couple nights before up there. I'm thinking now it was a giant plasma ball, which I don't know what race of beings is floating 40-foot plasma balls in the forests of Happy Jack, Arizona, but it was there and we saw it. We all saw it. It was real. There's no fluff about that story, I promise you.
Right.
Yeah. No,
I love John. He's my surfer bro.
Dude, yeah, he's got a real... And
Yeah,
he's
he
a
used to
he's a
surf,
great
and
tour
he's
guide.
done it all,
for-
man. Dude's got he's got books. He's got it all, man. Hats off to the
Yeah.
dude. I miss you, brother, if you're listening or if you listen to this. Happy birthday. What up?
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I can't believe he's. I remember when he turned 50, and that seemed like just yesterday. And
You mean 29?
yeah, 32, something like that. Yeah. All right, so
no one wants to hear that number.
So the phone lines are open. For those of you that for some reason don't want to be in the chat and you still want to call in, the call-in number is 928-208-4464. Again, like a good radio host, I'm going to actually say the number again. And that number is 928-208-4464. You know how some of the other guys are like, hey, call in 926-745. Let's go. You know? Yeah.
It's all blurred.
So you actually get the call-in number from me, 928-208-4464. And but I will say, if you've called in before and you're connected with me on Skype, just Skype in. That'll be a lot easier for everyone involved. So, but if you
call in, you feel good for like 2 seconds.
Yeah. So there you
Eric,
go.
I see you on Twitter. You posted the baby deer gets separated from mama. Awesome. Check that out.
That was so cool. That was definitely one of the highlights. Probably the highlight, I'd have to say, because I mean, you can hear very clearly. And you can hear that little guy going, across the street. And I'm like, he's over there. I know he is. He's over there. And then he pops up and he's waiting for all the cars to go by so he can, skedaddle back over the street and see mama. So once the cars go by, he kind of comes down the little hill and, they kind of hop. It was cute. They were kind of hopping over. He just kind of takes a couple hops and suddenly he's in the forest and mama comes up and gives him a little lick. And him and his little brother or sister or whatever, the two of them plus mama, they just kind of walked into the jungle and that was that. But they were all over the place. There were so many deer up there. I mean, we saw bears. Oh no, I didn't see any bears. We saw wild. I don't know if those were wild cows. Remember we saw those cows at that Montecito Lake up there, way across yonder.
How are those surviving up there? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. That's when I knew that probably Bigfoot wasn't in that area, because Bigfoot would have just munched on one of those cows by now. He wouldn't be letting a big old fat cow like that walk around uneaten.
Yeah, that was at Montecito Lake. It was a private lodge. It was like a Christian camp, so I think they might have had an electric fence around the whole thing. That might be one reason why those things are living. But pretty rugged territory for sure. But, it's a national park the same time, so it's not too bad.
Yeah. So anyway, so Jeff, what else is going on? I mean, Neil called in. I haven't even really heard you talk much tonight. What other any other stories or interesting things happening with you in the last month or two?
I mean, the only thing really is just, what's happening up at Ryan's place, because I was there right before that Connacht was moved, right after it was moved, I guess. So, I mean, that's the only interesting thing, but I'm not sure what we can share on that yet, because I know some of the things. I mean, I believe we can share about how it's now magnetized, his shed. So I don't know if you guys are too familiar with Ryan's place up there, but he has a typical like small wooden shed type deal, little house maybe even.
Okay.
He could have a bed in there. I've never been inside actually. I've never even looked in the window. But next to it, he has a big Connacht, one of the storage containers like you would see shipped on a boat. And so he has one of those in his yard. And it was always parallel to the wooden shed or wooden house, whatever it is. And then the last time I went up there was a conference up in Vernal not too long ago. So I went up there and stayed at Ryan's place for 3 nights. And when I got there, the Connacht was moved. And now it's kind of L-shaped with the other shed house. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. He moved it. I was like, it's much better like this, I thought, but I'm also looking at it too going, man, there's really no marks on the ground. I mean, it just made me think, but I didn't really dwell on it too much. But there was really no scar, no type of marks on there from the front loader lifting it up. And I've helped people move Conax like this before, and you use a big front loader to move these things. They're not easy to move. They're heavy. But there was no marks on the ground from any type of front loader being moved. And so it was just a thought on my head, but I never really questioned it too much, because I didn't know when the Conax was moved. Maybe it was moved long enough that all that stuff disappeared. But shortly after I got back from that weekend, Ryan had called me and he's like, dude, you'll never guess what happened. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, well, the Conax was moved. And I'm like, yeah, I thought you did that. He's like, no, I didn't do that. And so go ahead.
I was just tripping. I'm like, what the heck happened?
So his caretaker is the one that called him. Go ahead, Eric.
Let me jump in. It wasn't moved just like a few inches. This was moved like 25 or 30 feet. It was it got moved quite a distance, right?
Yeah. Well, it didn't really get moved that far away, but it got moved from one position, like it was facing east-west, and now it's against the shed house, whatever that is. I guess I call it a little mini house, but now it's now facing south-north and is up against the house. And I mean, it really is in a better position, but he didn't put it like that. And so he was tripping, and he's telling me about this. Well, he went up over the 4th of July weekend. I was actually supposed to go up there and meet him, but I had to work through the weekend. And he calls me a couple days after 4th of July, and he's like, Jeff, and he sends me a video, and he's like, check this out. And I started watching the video, and his Conax is now magnetized, and he has these big, long nails, not just regular small nails. These are big, almost like railroad nails and stuff. And he's sticking them on the side of his Conax. And so they're sticking on the Conax now. And so, so now it's magnetized, and he has several on there at one time. So, I mean, Eric, you would know because you were on his show today if he spoke about the other things that are going on, because I think it was today or yesterday I contacted him because I want to go stay at the property again when I go up for the Vernal Conference. But I can't go right now. But Eric, if he shared it on his show today, what else is going on there, then I guess you could probably share that.
Yeah, he actually, for his reasons that are good reasons, in my opinion, because he owns the property. He's not like you and I where we're just popping in and popping out when we can. He's got I think he's doing the smart thing, which is some of this really kind of wild stuff. He's kind of not wanting to. He'll tell us about it privately, but he's not really publicizing it because he doesn't want to draw attention to himself. I don't blame him. He's already had to sign a few agreements to not discuss certain things. So he's already on the radar of whoever the watchers are, the intelligence, whoever, you know what I'm saying? They know what's going on up there. They're watching. We talked about on his show that I think the whole Skinwalker show mostly is about managing the narrative so that people have an impression of what the narrative is. But the real narrative is much more freaky deaky than what the public knows about. Yeah. But then there's all these little misinformation, disinformation, little trolls that go on YouTube and have their little shows that go out there and do very limited research and experience nothing. So then they come back and tell their audience, oh, there's nothing happening here. We didn't see anything. I talked to the guy at the gas station. He's never seen anything. So it's all a lie, which to me tells me these people are idiots. They don't know what they're talking about, and they're just trying to get attention by taking the opposite side of the story, because that's what people do sometimes. I've noticed you got a story that's a legitimate story, and if you want to get attention, you just try to debunk it with no evidence, and then you get all these troll people that kind of it's all BS, none of it's true. They're just trying to scam us, which they're idiots. You learn right away an idiot when they start doing that stuff.
I'm kind of tripping, Jeff. The whole magnetic thing, I think that maybe the frequency is so strong there that it just overtakes some people's mental capability to, get away from it, and they just get sucked into it maybe. Or maybe, I don't know, man. There's so many facets you can go down and like rabbit holes. It's just like, dude, could it be ghosts? Could it be Indian natives? Could it be a collective of everything, you know, that's been through that area?
That's what's amazing about. Yeah, that's I think what's amazing about that place. And again, it's just not Skinwalker. It's just not where Ryan's place is, because Ryan's is right there. It's the whole Uinta Mesa. You know, there's crazy stuff going on everywhere. My friend has property on Duchesne, which is kind of the edge of the Uinta Mesa, I believe. It's about a half hour away from the Skinwalker area in Ryan's place.
Okay.
But I have seen squadrons of UFOs there. My friend's wife saw a crazy blue flash in the sky there. So there's things going on everywhere. But yeah, that's the thing. There's so many different things going on there. And talk to some of the locals there. I mean, they got all kinds of crazy stories. The first time I was there with Brad Olson, his old caretaker, Ryan's old caretaker, came up there with some local people. And there was a lady there that was naming people who were skinwalkers. She says they all live in the town of Maiton, which is right there. And you want to know something else that's crazy? Is this girl that was naming names? I wanted to interview her and go back and interview her, but she's no longer with us.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Within 6 months of her telling us all of that. It could be just coincidence, but it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
All right. Well, I have to cut in here because we have several things. First of all, we're almost out of time. Second of all, somebody said they had a message for Jeff. I'm trying to scroll through. Somebody thanked you for giving them some books. So.
It must have been Dragon Rose.
Dragon Rose, yes, I think it was. Yeah, sorry.
She is so welcome. Thank her for being a listener and just everything that you do. I appreciate your presence in my world, for sure.
Yeah, and speaking of Dragon Rose, yeah, she's always awesome. She's always here. She's always hanging out. And speaking of which, we need to get Jorg back on the show. Jorg Arnu. That's another interview that needs to happen here on Shift Happens. And
Eric, next time we go to Area 54, we should invite him to come with us.
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
the weather's coming up soon. We should head out and do an expedition here once it starts cooling off.
And
I'm ready.
And
I want to do Area 54 in October.
I'm down.
Is that where we last year? Was it October last year? I don't remember. When did we go
went,
last year?
I think beginning of November last year, but yeah, that's when you want to go. You want to go more towards end of October, beginning of November. That's the perfect temperature out there in the desert out there by Vegas and stuff. Otherwise, you're gonna die during the day. It's too damn hot. I think when I first went out there with Brad and my brother and my buddy Scott, we went out in May, and oh my God, it was unbearable. Thank God I brought my canopy to get away from the sun during the day, but yeah, it gets really bad out there.
Well, and the thing that I look forward to doing more research about the small whites and the Cractillians. I mean, that's going to be exciting to discover more about those people.
The Cractillians.
Yeah, that was amazing to see them there.
All right, and okay, so we unfortunately, I would love to keep going, but we do have to wrap this up.
I can go another hour.
Yeah, I could too. Quick comment from Deb in the chat. She says David Paulides, which we all know from 411, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, he said yesterday on his Skinwalker report that a lot will be exposed in the next 3 or 4 months. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. And there was another comment I was going to get to, but you know what? We just simply don't have enough time. So real quick, Eric, before we let you go, well, first of all, by the way, we can obviously all hang out after the show for a little bit if everybody wants to, as we usually do. But before we leave the audience, where can everybody keep track of you, Eric?
Well, again, Twitter, but I think I'll hopefully have some. I'd say within about 3 weeks to a month, I'll have done a few more little expeditions, and hopefully I'll have some stories that'll be interesting. I'm not going to just come on here and make up some bullshit, but yeah, I'm looking forward to. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm optimistic, but you never know with this stuff. It's like it's hit and miss. It's to get the opportunity to have a Bigfoot experience is not something you can just manufacture by being smart. You got to just be kind of lucky, I think, too.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, right. And all right. Well, thanks again, Eric, for calling in tonight and being a part of the show. And we'll talk to you in just a couple minutes here. And Jeff Rennell from etalk.tv, thanks for coming in last minute and being our surprise special guest. Where can everybody follow you and let everybody know everything that is Jeff Rennell?
You pretty much said it. You can find me over at www.etalk.tv. That's pretty much where I keep everything housed. I got some social media accounts like on True Social, and I still have my Twitter account for etalk.tv, so you can find me there, basically. But I would say go to my website. Hasn't been updated in a while, but I got some time off, so I will be updating that and getting some new stuff on there. But yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Well, we just wrapped this up just in time. So let's go ahead and get the boogie on out of here before I get yelled at. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening. Oh boy, that's loud. That was loud. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Shift Happens here for the Fringe FM. This show has been hosted and produced by yours truly, Gigi. You can follow me on Twitter at GGRabbit1, or more importantly, follow the show on Twitter over at Shift Happens Pod. And don't forget to stay in touch with our website, shifthappensradio.com. Co-host, as always, is JP. You can follow him on Twitter at ReadPerceptions, spelled exactly how it sounds, at ReadPerceptions. Associate producer is Brad Harris. You can follow him on Twitter at ADSBradHarris. Our roaming reporter is Eric Awakening Man, who we just heard from just a couple minutes ago. And all blames and faults go to Fran. Yes, Fran. That's right. Hashtag Fran's fault. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Don't go too far, because coming up next, right here on the Fringe FM, is Lighting the Void with Joe Roop. And in the meantime, we will see you back here next week with Dr. Richard Allen Miller. That's right! All right, we'll see you, folks. Have a great meal, have a great night, have a great weekend, and we will see you next week. Cheers to ya.
Later days, better lays.
See you, buddy.